What's hot? You mentioned SUVs. Are they the hottest thing right now? Is it a used SUV is where the hot market is?
What's interesting is the vehicle segment that has not depreciated very much at all is the passenger vehicle segment. It's a much smaller segment, and it often is where a more affordable price segment. So if we look at assets that are with an RRP of less than 30,000, and granted, there's not as many cars that are less than 30,000 RRP from new these days. Barely dropped in the past 18 months where everything else has been depreciating. Same with the passenger segment. Hasn't really dropped very much at all. As hasn't, what's the other one? The hybrids, hybrids have barely dropped in from a depreciation perspective as well. So those three segments, so cars with an RRP of under 30, passengers in general, and hybrids, barely reduction from April 22. Since then, everything else has been, just in a steady decline.
Wow, that's incredible.
There's a lot of the purchases these days, whether it's from trade or direct for consumers, they're going after price in terms of and we saw this during the GFC too, because when tough economic times, I can't go out and buy a brand new whatever. I'll go and get a good quality used one, and so anybody that's selling used cars for a period of time those prices will be held up intrinsically because of the demand from consumers that are buying good quality, chasing good quality used cars. So that's a positive for anybody that's got residuals or they're going to be selling down their fleet over the next few years.
And the average price of a used car, like a 3-year-old used car, is it 25 grand? You mentioned 25 as the number.
Yeah, it's just good. It's around that price. It was up sort of around the 30 mark, closer to the 30 mark, I think, and now it's around that 25. Sort of hovers between, depends on the quality of stock, and what we get from month to month sometimes varies a little bit. But it's around that 24 and a half mark, I think. Thereabouts on average.
Geez, I'm old enough to remember, and I used to look at the data from your government auctions, and it was like 16 grand was the average price for a used government car. Now it's 25 grand.
Yep, correct.
Mind you, I'm talking probably 15 years ago.
Yeah,
but it's interesting how it's slowly moving up.
It's going to continue to soften. It can't stay here forever. It's certainly going to hang. If that was, I think it'll sort of land at about that 19K mark, or it might have been at 17 and a half sort of thing. Pre-COVID, it'll probably land at that 19 to 20 mark is what we're thinking overall. And as I said, a lot of this information isn't stuff that I'm making up. It's coming out of the Datium guys, our data insights business. So it's been fantastic having that support of those guys through the last 4 or 5 years to provide us with these insights so that we can deliver them to, the likes of yourselves and customers, and just try to, provide a bit more information where we can.